Hello, all my friends out there in the DINKS world. This is Jeff Horowitz, and this is Humpday Happy Hour. Humpday Happy Hour with Dentists in the Know. We are your backstage pass for current trends, politics, and education in the dental world. We are live. We're on YouTube now. We'll end up on Facebook too, but we're live. We've got a little something in our hands. We've got our friends with us. We've got a great show for you. And as always, we are here to bring the best of everything dentistry to you live. As always, I'm with my great friend, Dr. Chad Duplantis. Dr. Jennifer Bell can't be with us because she is spending her second straight week in Uzbekistan, I believe. I'm somewhere like that. We'll figure out where in the world JB is, but she's having a wonderful time on vacation with her family. Anyway, welcome to Humpday Happy Hour with Dentists in the Know. As I said, we're your backstage pass for current trends, politics, and education in the dental world. Now, we are all business owners, we are all dentists, and we are all educators. Our job is to bring you in the know. And tonight, we're going to really bring you in the know about something incredibly cool. So you've heard us talking about Aspire and this great event that we went to down in Cancun last year. Well, we're going to be having a big announcement, a great deal for not only members of AIDA and AIDA Education, but for all of you in the DINKS world. So Chad, it's a great day. It's hump day. I'm finally having to do a show, not solo. You guys have been gone, it seems like, for months. And I'm just happy to have you back, my brother.
Well, I am glad to be back. Excuse me. I'm glad to be back. But can I share what I was doing the first Wednesday out?
Yes, please.
So anyways, as I said, it's great to be back. You know, you're gone for a couple of weeks and you feel like you've missed out on so much with everybody. But a couple weeks ago, I had the privilege of going to 3M's KOL meetings, and 3M Oral Healthcare is now Solventum. We learned about a lot of great things. We saw how they were manufactured. And I can tell you that although the name has changed, their colors have changed, they are still very involved in research, and I'm super excited to see what they're bringing to the forefront. So unfortunately, a lot of it I can't share, but I will say in the next few months, you're going to be blown away with some new products that are coming out.
Love to hear that, man. And you know, one of the things that we do that we're all so proud of is just always kind of trying to learn what's coming down the pike so we can share it with all of you. And Chad, thank you for doing that, man. I know it was a great experience. They put on a good show there at 3M, don't they?
They really do. And like I said, some things have changed. To me, it's always amazing because we don't really deal with the corporate world, but when you start learning about this, not necessarily a merger and acquisition, really a split, and how Solventum and how everything's kind of changing. And 3M is kind of an institution that a lot of these people have worked at and known for many years, and now it's all changing. And I think for some it was a leap of faith, but they all seem really excited about going over to the new corporation, and I'm just excited to see what's coming. So
that's really cool. The one thing I always wonder though about a lot of the companies that we work with is like, they release something and they'll put it in our hands. They'll let us play with it, and it'll just have this name that you're like, what were they thinking? Yeah. And you're like, would you like some feedback on the name? Oh no, that's set in stone. Like,
yeah,
well,
exactly.
That would have been good to ask us.
I'm not going to say that that's necessarily changed. So not going to throw that one out there just yet.
Yeah. And it's funny because they bring us in for all of our feedback on the materials. I'm like, why would they not talk to us about naming the products? Because we're the ones who sit in the operatory and we're like, hey, Cindy, go get me the Reliax. Which one? The Reliance, the one that begins with a U. Oh,
Yeah,
no, Ultimate. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like I just wish, again, nothing against any of the companies. They're beautiful, amazing products with great science behind them, and we so appreciate that they want our feedback. But it never fails that we get a product put in our hands and like, you named it what?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And it was like, so are we going to have more normal names now?
Yeah.
We're not necessarily going to say that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We can't do that. We cannot not have some confusion in the operatory.
yeah. Well, and hey guys, it's not just them we're knocking, it's everybody, I
No,
mean,
no. This is not a
yeah,
3M thing at
it's a
all. This is
it's a dental thing. So any
literally
dental
anytime we're at a
manufacturer,
KOL meeting, this happens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, anyhow, how are you doing? I haven't
I'm doing
haven't
great. I'm doing great. I haven't done vacation yet, but I know you took a vacation too. So looked like you had a great time with the fam. And
You did.
that's always therapeutic. So you had a nice time. You're in Florida?
We were in Florida. We had a great time. Just sat on the beach and played games and ate good food, and we had a really good time. So
That sounds like my kind of vacation.
yeah, we're beach bums. I mean, everybody's like, "What do you do at the beach?" We sit on the beach. You know,
Yeah.
you
Did 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 you have a beer?
maybe one,
Okay,
two a
good.
day.
I'm
Yeah,
proud of you.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
anyway, we have a loaded show tonight because first we have this big announcement. Of course, tonight's show is brought to you by AIDA and Atlanta Dental, by the AIDA Group, Atlanta Dental. But we have this huge announcement, which I am so stoked about because I don't know about you, Chad, but I had a pretty frigging good time last year at the
Oh,
Mexico event.
it
Did
was
you?
fantastic. It was
Yeah.
great. It was great.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I encourage everybody to go. Yeah.
yeah, great education, great people, and what's really cool is this community that's forming now. And so we're going to see a lot of the same people. We're going to hang out with friends that we got to make. We're going to build on some of what we learned last year, learn a little bit more this year. But we might have a little special guest with us that can maybe talk to AIDA Education's event, Aspire 2025. But before we bring her on, I think you have a video that we can show everyone.
Am I supposed to do the news first?
Oh, you know what? I look at you and I think there's no way he can pull this off. So let's just go right.
Just
on
thought I
this
was supposed to
stuff.
do the news.
Yes, I'm sorry,
So,
Chad. I don't want to take that away from you. I know you've always wanted to be the one doing the news.
I'm going to remove you now because it's my turn to do the news. Jennifer always gets to be front and center. She gets all these Instagram reels. And just for once, I believe that I want that spotlight. So here you go, folks. Here's my stab at the news. And tonight I've got 3 news stories for you. But the first one is, do you want to practice in Nebraska? Yes, that's what I said. Do you want to practice in Nebraska? There's a lot of good things in Nebraska. There's corn. There's Huskers. There's fired coaches. There's new coaches. But actually, Nebraska is, from what I hear, a pretty amazing place. I'm not knocking anybody from Nebraska, but this is what I find funny. This is the headline of the article. Governor Pillen calls for change to recruit more qualified dentists to Nebraska. Now, if I saw that article and I'm a dentist in Nebraska, I'd first think, okay, so are you calling me unqualified? Maybe that's just where my mind goes. But anyhow, it looks like Nebraska has a dentist shortage. So if you're looking for a place to practice, looking for a place to hang a shingle, the governor has called for you to come to Nebraska. Now, there's only one caveat, is that right now, they require an applicant to demonstrate their skill by taking the Central Regional Dental Testing Service or any other regional or state practical examination that the Board of Dentistry determines to be comparable to such. I don't know what those are because they aren't named. But what Nebraska is doing, and I think this is what they meant by saying more qualified dentists to come to the state, they're seeking for their licensure to be to be done through ADEX, which is a more national, it's the American Board of Dental Examiners exam. And that's how they look to attract more qualified dental professionals. So I guess they just want to open their borders a little bit and say, hey, please come eat some corn, come husk some corn, and come to Nebraska. And that is the first story of the night. Now, the second one is kind of a warning. If you are taking Medicaid, please, 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 please do it legally. There is a dentist in Houston that was just sentenced to 10 years in federal prison for executing a greater than $6 million scheme involving fraudulent claims and kickbacks through Medicaid. So now they billed from 2019 to 2021, $6.9 million for pediatric dental services, of which Medicaid paid $4.9 million. So now this dentist has 10 years in prison. They have to repay $4.9 million to Medicaid, and they have another judgment against them to repay $3 million. So the way I look at that, that's about $7.9 million going to jail. So please, if you're doing Medicaid, do it above water and look at all the horror stories that we hear. I don't know this dentist. I don't know anything about this dentist. I don't know what they were doing, but the story's right here for all to read, and it's not a pretty story. And then finally, this one here, I'm just going to say it may bring a little chuckle to everybody, but there's an Arizona teen that was 18 years old. He went to his dentist to have his wisdom teeth extracted, and the dentist, in their, I believe, 28 years of practice, has never allowed patients to walk out of with their teeth because they're a quote unquote biohazard. So he refused to let this young person walk out with their teeth. Now that young person decided that they were going to go straight to the police and file a report against the dentist. I don't know what's going to come of it, but I found it a little bit humorous. I've always let people walk out with their teeth once they've been cleaned, put them in a sterilization bag, go for it. If they get money from the tooth fairy, that's great. I don't care what they do with them, but I've never really seen an issue with it. If they want them, well, I wouldn't want a police report filed against me for not handing said teeth to the patient if they requested them. And with that, that is the news. Take that, JB. I wish I had a mic to drop. Boom!
Nicely done, Chad. Hey, you know what I'm thinking? Like,
What's that?
Why would that dentist say that? That, like, if you sterilize the tooth, it's the cleanest damn thing they're going to walk out with. Like, the patient is a biohazard.
Yeah.
Like, most... that doesn't make any sense at all. That whole thing doesn't make any sense.
It was in their mouth.
Well, and if you go to Nebraska, you can watch the College World Series. That's actually a pretty cool thing.
And you know what? Like I said, it was what I said earlier. I just want to reiterate for the record, it was entirely a joke. I do have friends from Nebraska. I have a lot of patients from Nebraska, and I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Nebraska. I just know that the Nebraska Cornhuskers used to be a powerhouse in football, and I hope we see them good again.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Very politically correct. Thank you, Chad.
You're welcome.
See, what I'm doing now? Actually, you did do a nice job with that. I mean, JB should be nervous now, a little bit nervous.
She should be. I'm telling you, it took me a few tries, but I think I nailed it.
Yeah. How long did you rehearse that?
I didn't rehearse it. Just want to let you know.
All right. All right. JB, he's coming for you.
All right. Hang tight, guys. We got a special treat.
Oh, you got to be here. You got to be here. Come and check it out.
I don't know about you, Jeff, but I heard that and I was just moving and grooving.
You want a little salsa? I don't think anybody wants to watch us do that.
Yeah.
What do you say we bring Don Metcalf, the Director of Education?
You guys, how are you doing?
Education. How are you?
I am fabulous. So excited to make this announcement.
I like the background. Are you actually on the beach, or
I
is
am
that
not.
your
I'm
living
so
room?
glad I am in Michigan. I was just very creative. I'm so glad you did not pick any Michigan dental stories. You know, they frequent you guys often. So I'm glad you picked Nebraska tonight. That was good.
I did. Yeah. And trust me, I read it several times to make sure it was Nebraska.
I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, this is a scene though, a beach scene that you will see with your own eyes if you join us at Aspire 2025. The dates are January 23rd through the 26th, and we are going to Tulum. So it'll be at the
I'm
beautiful
excited.
Tulum.
I've never been.
What's the resort, Dawn? The Hilton?
The Hilton all-inclusive resort in Tulum on Riviera Maya.
So I hear they have like a whole brand new airport in Tulum, so
They
like
do.
really
They
easy
do.
to get to, and a brand new resort. I'm kind of excited about this,
It's
Don.
very exciting, and you really get your choice. You can fly into Cancun if you prefer. You'll be about a 90-minute-ish ride, but if you fly into Tulum, it'll be at least half that because it is on the other side of Tulum. But we are right on the beach. We have 4 of the buildings just for us, 2 pools just for us. So I am very, very excited about this year's experience. And we got 100 extra rooms this year because last year we sold out. So
Yeah.
we're very excited.
And I know we will again. I mean, so many dinks were actually contacting us going like, hey, how do I get involved with this? And we of course we talked to them about the AIDA group and AIDA education and excited about that. But some of the people were from outside some of the territories that some of these companies work in and just said, hey, can I get in on this just as a dentist in the know? And so I think your answer to that was a resounding yes, huh?
Absolutely. You know, Jeff, you mentioned something earlier about the community that's forming with AIDA education, and you just hit it right on the head. I mean, how many CE events can you go to and know that everyone in the room is an independently owned dental office? I mean, there's just nowhere. That just doesn't happen in today's day and age. So you actually are coming together with dental and dental practices, hygienists, assistants, office staff, everyone in the team, 24 states. And we're going to bring them all in together, one location for 4 days, 3 nights, 2 days of education, and one fabulous experience. So I'm really excited.
It's not just 3 nights, it's 3 parties.
It's 3 parties. Yes, you are right. It is 3
Okay.
parties. You don't want to forget the parties.
Don't be shafting us on the parties.
No. You know, last year we didn't have much of a beach in Cancun. It was a beautiful resort, but not much of a beach. And that was one of the takeaways that I heard. And boy, are you going to get an amazing beach this year. Cannot wait to show it to you.
Is it the one behind you?
It is not the one behind me. I did not take the one from the Hilton website. It looks very similar, but you see that like little hut in the background. Yeah, that's not there. That's
not there.
I have to be honest with you. But yeah, they've got some pretty amazing things. And Chad, you know, one thing that they do have that you may be interested in?
What's that?
They have a PGA, the best PGA golf course in Riviera Maya is literally across the road, 5-minute drive.
I'm in.
So, Chad, can I coax you to come in a little early this year? Because I do that every year. And I think there's some golf in our future.
Yes.
It's a beautiful golf course. They have a beautiful spa. So for the significant others that don't want to do golf or don't want to go to education, they have a beautiful spa as well. So I think everyone is really going to enjoy it. The room prices, we really negotiated these, and you're going to get in as low as $236 per person per night. That's all inclusive.
Fantastic.
Well, and
so that is all in. This is very affordable at a luxury resort.
The deal that you're making on the education, this is 2 full mornings of education, great stuff. And talk a little bit about the offer that you have for everyone that's watching, the dentist in the know.
Well, all of the dentists or all the clinicians, whether it's a dentist, a hygienist, anybody in the office, until September 10th, we have early bird. and it's $998 tuition. That includes all of your CE, all the parties, everything that you're going to get there from AIDA. But if you are an AIDA member, you get half price. So that's $499. So after September 10th, that will go up to $699. So honestly, we could be sold out by that time. So if you are interested, you need to walk, run, whatever you need to do, but get to the AIDA website, which we'll post, but it is aidagroup.org. Click on Aspire, and you will be able to register from there. You can book your room from there. You can book your airport transportation from there. The only thing you can't do is book your flight. We'll leave that to you.
Let me break this down real quick one more time.
Yep.
$236 per person per night, all
depending
included.
on what room and what view. But yes, as low as.
Starting at $236
Yes.
per person per night, depending upon what room and what view.
Yep.
The 236 room view has a view of the dumpsters.
It's still a nice room.
The 236 room is a garden view.
They call it nature view. They call it the nature view.
Yeah.
Yes, the nature.
Yeah, a nature view. So you can look at ringtail lemurs, iguanas, crocodiles, bears, anything that sloths, whatever they got in the Yucatan Peninsula.
There you go.
However, 236, as low as 236 per person per night. And if you book by September 10th, you can go as low as $499 per person for CE, parties, and lunches, breakfasts, all
you can eat and all you can drink the entire 3 days.
It's ridiculous not to go. And I will say this, and I'm not just saying it because Dawn's here. Look, I'll even say it when she's not here. It is great CE. There you go. See, I said it with you and without you. So,
well, and I'd love to tell you just really briefly, because I know I've only got a couple minutes here, but we have literally 8 speakers this year. We have so many speakers this year. We are going to be talking about subject matter like 3D printing with exocad. You know, how many doctors just have 3D printing and maybe aren't doing everything they need with it or want to get into 3D printing. So we're going to show them how. Communication skills with the patients and also communication skills with your teammates. We all know that everyone can do better in that arena. Special needs patient. I have a doctor by the name of Dr. Jacob Dent, and he is going to come in and talk about how you work and interact with autistic, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy patients. So that is definitely something that we're all having to deal with. And wouldn't it be great to keep them in your practice instead of having to send them to the hospital? Put them under. So that's something we're excited about. We have AI integration and how to use it to increase your hygiene production. So that's going to be a little bit of a twist on AI. We also have somebody, you might have heard of him, that's going to be talking about how to integrate sleep into your practice. If you're an independently owned office, you're looking for added revenue. There might be somebody on the call tonight that might be an expert at how to show you how to do that. And that's
we might have a couple of big announcements too, with regard to that, because we don't want to leave anybody wanting more when they leave.
No, we would never want that.
Nope. And so we have a lot of great announcements about how everyone can continue their journey in some of what you're going to learn about in Cancun. So
exactly. It's great that we only have the education in the morning, but there's only so much that you all can learn from a 2 or 3 hour breakout. I mean, and we want to get into this, but we also don't want to just tease you and then leave you hanging. This is not just light stuff. So we're going to be following up a lot of this with virtual webinars, live events, and hands-on continuums. This is just going to be the tip of the iceberg. So this year's truly going to be an experience like no other. So we're very, very excited about it.
All right. Y'all heard it. The Chad Duplantis Invitational, followed by Aspire 2025, AIDA Education. Be there or be really square.
I completely agree. It'll be fantastic. I think the Chad Duplantis Invitational will probably have to take place on Wednesday morning. So yes, but we will find a way to make that happen.
I think we need to make that happen. I do see some kind of some kind of a little tournament if we can get enough people excited.
Oh, wouldn't that
about
be
that.
fun? Wouldn't
Yeah.
that
Maybe
be
we
fun?
could even do it like Thursday afternoon after the
Yeah.
thing. So we'll
Well,
figure it out.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Jeff and I might have to play a practice round
Totally
with
do that.
OPEC.
Well, and don't forget, the closing session is going to be done by Dennis in the Know. We're going to have last call. This is Humpday Happy Hour, so we're going to have last call with all of you being able to wrap everything up. So we're very excited to have you guys on board as well and appreciate your partnership.
Well,
we
proud to be
appreciate you
partners.
all more than you know, and
Yeah.
we can't wait to continue to collaborate with you all. And I believe the Shepherd's Hook is coming out, and
Yep.
No doubt. Well, Don,
I'm
thank
teasing.
you so much for joining
Thank you,
us. And thanks for everything you've done for AIDA education and for education in general. I know you work tirelessly to put these programs together. And for all of you out there, if you have not been to a Don Metcalf hosted event, you have missed something, because
You got to come and see what all the hype's about. We would love to show you.
Yeah, this woman leaves no stone unturned. I can assure you of that. These are just high-class events. So
they really are. And she values what the speaker brings. And there's a lot of conversation beforehand from a speaker perspective to make sure that the education is going to be on point for the attendee. And from a speaker and from an attendee, I can tell you that is appreciated more than you know as well.
I'm glad.
Okay, Don, back to Michigan.
All right.
Are you going to show that other video or no? Is there time?
That's going to be at the
We're going to show it. We're going to close with it.
Okay, well, that's excellent. And this will show everyone that's tuned in of a little taste of what last year was and some advice from some of the people there. So thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Don.
Good night, Don. Thanks.
All right.
I'm stoked about this, Chad, but you know what else I'm stoked about?
What?
So, not only am I an AIDA member, not only am I a part of AIDA, but I am a part of AIDA through my distributor, Atlanta Dental. And I'm really proud because I get to share a little bit of Atlanta Dental tonight, as well as what they bring in their partnership with the AIDA group and their contribution to the AIDA group. But without further ado, Chad, I'd love for you to introduce the two gentlemen who really head up this incredible distributorship that I've had the pleasure to work with for many years now. And I'm excited for you to meet the leadership. So Chad, would you introduce them?
I would be glad to. However, I'm going to ask you to bring them up as I'm introducing them.
I will do it.
Because my dad always told me I couldn't walk and chew gum. And so I can't necessarily do two things at once. It's very hard for me to process. So anyhow, I would like to introduce our two speakers tonight. Batting first is Mr. Gary Kirkus, and he has been with Atlanta Dental Supply, you get this, for over 52 years. It's very hard to believe because when I looked at his birth certificate, I found out that he was 53 and a half. So this means that it was a little bit of child labor. He started with Atlanta at 1.5 years old. But he's been in dental, basically, it sounds like his whole career. He served on the Dental Trade Alliance Board of Directors, chairman of the American Dental Cooperative, and he leads ADS nonprofit outreach programs in dental clinics worldwide, including Ben Masso, Good Samaritan, Missions of Mercy, Hogar del Nino, Dominican Republic. Gary lives in Gainesville, Georgia. He enjoys Lake Lanier with his family, including his wife, Tricia, 3 children and 8 grandchildren. And then batting second, we have Mr. Tom Richardson, who became involved in dentistry. I don't believe it was 52 years ago, but I'm going to say it's probably 30 years ago. And he had enlisted in the Army as a medic, and he was assigned to the Department of Dentistry, where he served as a dental supply specialist and a part-time dental assistant. After he left the Army, he was recruited by Healthco Dental Supply. He was in Houston, Texas, in a successful sales territory, and he attended the University of Houston, go Cougs. He was then transferred to Atlanta, Georgia, and built another successful sales territory, becoming a full-time equipment specialist. He joined Atlanta Dental in 1993. So doing the math here, it was a little bit greater than 30 years. Tried to give you a little credit, Tom. And served as an equipment manager, VP of equipment, VP of sales and marketing before becoming the president in 2016. He has been supportive of and participated in dental missions worldwide. And he's been married to his wife, Sue, for 30 years. He has 3 children and 3 grandchildren. And I told you a lot about these people, but the thing that I really want to hammer home is people in Texas will get this. People in the South will get this. These are real people. These are people that you'll enjoy being around. They give you the shirt off their back. Jeff can tell you that. I have enjoyed every minute that I spent with them. And I got to go to the Hinman this year. And I will tell you that they made their presence known at the Hinman. They were front and center, had a beautiful display, and they were having a lot of fun. So dental stuff, good prices, good people, and they know how to have fun. So we're honored to have you.
Hey, welcome, guys. It's so good to have you.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Hey, Chad, I have to add one thing to what you said. When I went out to visit these gentlemen at Atlanta Dental, and I had never been to their headquarters before. And when I walked in, and the first thing that I saw on the screen when I walked into the waiting area was a sign that said, "Relationships matter." And that really stood out to me because it's something that I've always believed in, that we're truly a relationship-based business. But it felt so good to see that from the supplier's end, to see, okay, this really matters to these people. And they show it every day, and their sales team shows it every day. And their architectural team shows it every day. And it's something that they take true to their course. So let me ask either one of you that want to answer this question. Where did that motto come from? And how does it play into what you all are doing as a distributorship every day?
It's interesting. A few years ago, some of the larger companies came out with kind of a new strategy, and they decided that relationships no longer matter. And it was all about business. And as you're working with your dental customers, really it's all about business. It's not relationship driven. So just to give Gary kudos, he says, well, I know what our theme is this year. Our theme is going to be relationships matter. Because one thing we all know, if we've been in this business very long, the relationship and the honor we have to build relationships with our customers means everything to us. And we actually think we can help practices and help change their lives. But Gary came up with a great idea, and it is still continuing today.
Yeah, I think the first clue we had was one of our major competitors. I had a couple of service techs call me about the same week to say, we're thinking we would like to talk to you about a new opportunity. So we met with both of them, interviewed them, and they both had the same story, that they were told to kind of disconnect from customer relations because they were getting too close to the doctor. Then the doctor might ask for favors, or can you come back after work and do a little service? And they started feeling like they needed to break some of those relationships. And those guys both joined us. And then 2 or 3 years later, we hired a rep from one of the major competitors. It said pretty much the same story, but they said at a sales meeting, kind of what Tom said. We no longer want y'all to build those strong relationships, because what happens is you end up playing golf, buying dinners, but you're not doing business. And this is about business. It's not about relationships. So that's kind of the opposite of our culture and who we are. So it was a great opportunity to kind of have a motto or a slogan, and it's lasted for a long time, and it's definitely wearing even stronger now than it did when we came out with it, because as business changes, people are looking for those relationships, and we hope we have a place they can find them.
I love that answer. And I think Jeff and I will both, I say this all the time. Jeff would probably agree that my relationship is with our dental supplier is just that. It's a relationship. And that's why I don't really even entertain other suppliers in the office unless it's something that you all don't have. But, if somebody wants to try and, that relationship's got to sour, because it won't. I mean, I have a great relationship with our dental supply company, And, I truly do believe that relationships do matter, and especially, maybe call me stupid, but I say it matters way more than pricing.
Well, it's also in your world. It's in the dental world. I mean, the big business and the corporate dental practices have a little less relationship because it's about turn and get, cash flow, let's say. The clinical becomes a little bit secondary, and the relationship that the independent dentist has with their patient is very similar to what we have. We're an independent company, so we line up with that. So I would say that you live by exactly the same situation, the same relationships that we do, and you understand them, and you have patients that know who you are. A lot of times we go to new practices today, and the dentist has changed every 3 years or 2 years, and you're building that long-term relationship with your patients, which is why y'all are so successful.
I think when Dr. Horowitz came into our office, he got there early because there wasn't much traffic that day. It was a holiday. And so he got there early, and we got to spend over an hour with him, which wasn't really planned. We weren't really supposed to do anything but say hello, but we had a chance to sit down, and then he started sharing his passion for functional dentistry. And I tell you, we just connected immediately. We started building a relationship right then. And then I heard both of you speak in Cancun at Aspire 2024. And, that passion just runs through everything that you do. So we appreciate the chance to be affiliated with you.
Well, we certainly appreciate it too. So thank you very much. One of the things, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
So one of the things that really struck me when I came out to visit you, and first, let me go back to a quick relationship story, because the way that I started working with Atlanta Dental was I had a rep who I had a phenomenal relationship with. I won't say what company he worked with, began with a B. And anyway, I got a call one day that this rep that I had been working with forever, back from when he worked with another company, because I'm a relationship guy. People, you look out for me, I look out for you, and the world really moves beautifully like that. And one day I got a call from I guess he was a new regional manager, that said, "Oh, by the way, he's not going to be your rep anymore. We're giving you a new rep." I'm like, "No, you're not." And they're like, "Well, no, you don't understand." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. This is who I'm doing business with. I will not do business with you if you take my relationship away." And as it turned out, I ended up moving over to Atlanta. Some people had been speaking very highly of them. And this was before even AIDA existed. And as it turned out, this rep happens to now work for Atlanta Dental. And, there's just so much synergy there. So thank you for seeing the value in those relationships. Thank you for participating and becoming a partner with AIDA, realizing the value of independent dentistry. So more of a statement than a question. But when I was there, another thing that really stood out to me was the rich history of Atlanta Dental. So would one of you mind just kind of talking a little bit to that? Because you guys have been around for a little while. I mean, you didn't just start last year, did you?
No, matter of fact, we'll both share some things. A lot of people are interested in our history, and I mean, actually, it is pretty amazing. We were established in 1868 by a dentist named Dr. Samuel Hape. If you've ever been to the airport in Atlanta, well, Hapeville is named after Samuel Hape. But he was in dental school when Abraham Lincoln was president, so that kind of gives you a little bit of a timeline there. And the second owner of Atlanta Dental was Doc Holliday's cousin, Dr. Robert Holliday, who was very involved in getting the first dental school in Georgia started. So, I mean, it's a long history for sure. And probably the thing that excites us, because we're still in the middle of it, it started then, but our company has been employee owned since the very beginning, and ownership transitions from one generation to the next. And we always ask that next generation, we've all been asked not to sell the company, to stay true to who we are as a company, not change our values or our morals. And so it continues to change and stay 100% employee owned.
Wonderful.
And I think back to that, kind of the relationship is a key part of our culture. And as Tom just said, we were the first two owners of our company were dentists. So obviously they were looking out for dentists, and they understood the world of what the dentists went through. And I'm not saying that was passed all down 156 years, but from owner to owner, that same philosophy has stayed true, as Tom just brought up, all the way until I had the opportunity to be the key guy in 2001 and be CEO. And as we back up to the ownership part, the only reason they would help me get to that point was I had to make a commitment that I would never sell this company. And for about 20 years, every major dental company in the country was trying to buy us, and they were trying to tell our sales reps that we were being sold so they could kind of take people away from us. But we fought those battles and stayed true to our commitment. And today we're still independently owned by 30 stockholders that are all have the same commitment to keep us independent and strong and healthy so that we never have to sell. So back to the history, it started with two dentists, but it ended up with a gentleman two guys. When I joined here 50 years ago, there were two key guys, a financial guy and a marketing guy that mentored me, and a lot of us along the way. One of them passed away 3 years ago and 1-7. So they stayed with us. I was able to pin the 72-year pin on him. So 52 years is not long in this company. We had a 72-year-old gentleman. But the relationship part of it and the culture, which has kept us so strong for all those 156 years, was started with dentists. And I think we feel like that if we do the right thing and protect our client, that it'll come back tenfold. And that has been true. So it's not really hard to do. It's just, you got to do it, not talk about it, and not focus on yourself or the financial part of it or the stock, as Wall Street has tried to change, but focus on the customer. And it still works today.
Gary, did you infer that you've been the CEO since 2001?
I have.
I don't know if that says a lot about you or Atlanta, but that's pretty dang impressive, buddy. That's good stuff.
Good run.
Man. And from what I've seen, I think you're doing a pretty dang good job. So yeah,
Thank you.
That's pretty impressive. And you know, you guys are going to stick around, and I love to see what's happening out there. So.
Well, tell us this: what do you see as the value of AIDA? Because that's kind of a bold move for a company, and you and Midwest Dental and Getsy Dental and Nashville Dental, who have all decided to kind of partner up with AIDA and to be able to help keep independent dentists independent. Why take that on? Why? I mean, Atlanta does a great business. You're relationship based. Why take that on?
Well, the DSO market has and continues to grow, and the independent dentists are fighting every way they can to compete with that. There's a lot of opportunity that DSOs bring that general independent dentists didn't have the opportunity to share in. And we were already in that independent mode of helping independent dentists because we were one as Dr. Hape started the company. So just continuing that tradition was part of it. But I think when AIDA was starting to form, and Rick Cacciatore, who y'all met on this program about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, is the CEO of AIDA. And when he was putting things together, he used to own his own independent dental supply company. We all knew Rick. So he wanted to have a DSO that would cater to and work with independent dentists. And when he reached out to us, it was automatic. Yes, that's exactly what we'd like to do. Help our dentists compete in the DSO world, but not have to sell their practice, not have to change their staff, not have to change their lab, not have to change their products, not have to change their culture clinically and their staff culture to fit into some DSO, but could be independent and have that same opportunity to have better pricing and some of those member services that we offer to make them as competitive as possible. So it was pretty easy to decide to add that to our offering to all of our customers to see how those members that wanted to be part of AIDA. And it's going very, very well, as y'all know, over 2,000 members.
And when we talk about that, we have a lot of guests that are watching tonight, and one of them happens to be Tim Cluley with Midwest Dental, and he was asking who I use for a supplier. And it's funny that I can sit on here and I can tell you that I don't use one of your competitors. I use one of your friends, and indirectly I use you guys too, because I'm a member of AIDA, and I believe in all of the 4 companies that are members of the NDI. So it's been great, and I love that story as to how you all became involved with that as well.
It really kind of fit like a glove. We already have been doing a lot to support private practice dentists. About 8 years ago, Gary and I started working on a new division of the company called Practice Life. And Practice Life brings a lot of tools to the private practice dentist. And there's a lot of dentists that are probably maybe not the right size to be acquired, or they don't want to be acquired, but they find it difficult to compete in a corporate environment. And we're able to bring all the tools from AIDA and all that we had put together in Practice Life as well. And we're able to help those new startup dentists, or the ones that are, just wanting to kind of stay status quo. And we're able to give them the same benefits and help them compete. So I think as independent distributors, all 4 of us that were asked to be distributors for AIDA, it was a good fit for really all 4 of us.
And it just to reiterate, Gary, I was thinking this morning as to how I was going to introduce that, and you just did it so eloquently earlier, is that, and I'm glad you said it first, because I didn't want to say it and be wrong, but really I was going to say this morning that, if you want to be competitive in the DSO market, but maintain your autonomy, get incredible pricing, have incredible services offered to you, and or available to you, I should say, and offered to you. And if you also, want to have something that I think sets you all apart from some of the other groups that have come together, is you all have an incredible educational backing, which is, Aspire is a huge part, but it's just a little bit of the educational offering that's out there.
Right. Well, most of the other groups are pretty much a GPO, which y'all brought up last time, which have better pricing sometimes, but they don't have the related services that every doctor needs to keep their practice going and successful. They don't have a service department. They don't have a sales team. They don't have access to bringing in manufacturer reps, because they kind of block against that, because they don't want that access to that vendor. But we're the opposite of that. We have a service team that covers our area. We have sales reps that call on our customers, and we have support from the vendors to teach and train and help with education as well, to make that customer make the right choice, or help them make the right choice on product.
Well, I'd love for you to expand on that, because I mean, it goes so far beyond just the products and the reps. I mean, I've had the pleasure of working with your architectural team there. And actually, your background is as an architectural engineer, is it not?
Yeah.
How'd you end up running a dental company from there? I don't get that.
Well, my dream was to be an architect since I was a little guy. But when I got into this world, when I was recruited by Atlanta Dental, I was out looking for an architectural job and met the 2 owners of Atlanta Dental, and they recruited me to be the design department for Atlanta Dental. So I got to start a registered architectural firm here. We had architects on staff. I have a gentleman that's been with me 45 years named Gary Lowry, who's phenomenal at design. But what helped me, Dr. Horowitz, with design was I helped create about 800 offices with doctors. So when you work with a doctor finding property or space to help them negotiate a lease, help them negotiate construction prices, and work through the process of constructing and building their dream, and then watching it come to fruition and watching their success, you get pretty close. So the dentist, I've always said the doctors are who taught me everything I know. Mr. Gore and Mr. Blackshear taught me the business side, but all the clinical and all the understanding of doctors and building relationships came from the dentist, because I got to work side by side with them for 10 years. And then I started moving into equipment sales and moved up into management, and et cetera. But my love was architecture, and I did that for a good 10 years, and then helped for another 5 selling equipment into offices, but still love the design side of it for sure.
But and it goes beyond that. I mean, you have them, you have some business services that you offer as well. This is just stuff that you can't get from, well, I say catalog. I'm dating myself when I say catalog, but off of just a website ordering group, or somebody that just calls you every now and then and says, hey, you want to place your order? And yeah, I can get you 4 cents less on, X product. I think it's all of these services put together. And I'll say even beyond, like, so having worked with Gary and on the design of the office, and your equipment team, and Matt, who comes out to my building every week, doesn't even tell me sometimes, just to see how things are going and make sure that the building is going well and that everything's being put where it's supposed to. I just think that it's really lost on some younger dentists about how important all these other adjunctive services are that a company like yours can offer.
Exactly. And you're right. Our design firm is definitely one of the top in the nation, if not the top in the nation, just because of how long we've been doing it. And back to what I said about the doctor training us, the experience that we have, came from just hundreds and hundreds of offices and the things that need to be done differently, and the doctor, what fits that doctor, and to make them more productive. So that's a piece of it. And then, as you say, following it up after that with an equipment specialist that does the right thing, helps make the right decision, and doesn't try to sell you something, just tries to help you buy something that fits the need. All those pieces are the integrity side of what we do, and we've been doing forever, and we love doing it because we know it's the right thing, and usually it comes back in a way that rewards us as well.
Chatty.
Yo.
Don't you want to be an Atlanta customer? Oh, sorry, Tim Cluley. Not your territory. Okay.
Hey, well, you know what's funny, though? That you just brought up a great question, because it was something that I was about to ask before you kind of rudely jumped in front of me. But no,
well, you were standing there. You look, you were so astounded by what was happening here that, but I know you get that kind of service too.
No, I wanted to, would you be able to tell us where Atlanta covers? Where does, I mean, obviously I'm assuming it covers the metro Atlanta area. However, what are the extents of Atlanta Dental?
Yeah, we cover all the way down to like Naples, Florida, over toward Jacksonville to Orlando, all the way up the whole southeast. And now we just opened our second distribution center in Richmond, Virginia a few years ago. So now we're serving North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland as well, a little bit of Delaware. So we've kind of grown quite a bit in that market. We built a DC so we could have next day shipping up there, as we do to all of our customers in this area as well. So 2 DCs, 55 sales reps, 52 service techs. We really believe in service technicians being there because, you can't be productive. You're losing $500,000 an hour. So got to have service. And then we have 10 equipment guys that back all those zones up. So our reps and our techs live all over the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic because they need to be accessible to the customer in that market. We're not a telemarketing company. We're a high-touch, hands-on company.
And, that's a very vast area. But just for those of you watching, if you're not in that area, you can still be an AIDA member and work with one of the NDI suppliers. And, the map is vast. The map is vast. Atlanta does cover a large portion of the Southeast. And I know they'd love to have you as a customer. So we've talked about relationships. We've talked about service. And how many service techs did you say that you all have at Atlanta Dental?
52.
And would you say that they're fairly accessible?
Very accessible, very experienced, factory trained. We stock our vans with parts. So a lot of companies go out and diagnose, and then they have to come back to have 2 service calls. We go out with parts to fix the problem we hope the first time. We have a very low rate for customers that sign up on the AIDA plan with what we call Access is our plan. Access is our marketing plan for AIDA customers. And they get discounts on service and shipping, and the trip charge is, as low as $19. So just wrapping it all up, the service techs are well trained and they're accessible. And we have a 4-hour guarantee. If we're not there for an emergency, that it's free to make sure we back you up, because we know if you're down, it's costing you a lot of money.
I'm going to throw this question out there, not to put you on the spot, but say somebody's autoclave goes down. Do you all have loaners available for those customers? And for some of the crucial items?
Today we call those rentals.
Yeah.
But we do have them, and they're very low price for a good customer. But we have, some customers, they only want to use us when they're in trouble, so they pay a little bit more for those rentals.
I get you. Let me rephrase that. Do you all have rentals available for
Yes, we do.
customers?
Absolutely.
Like, so it's not like going to the car dealership and you're like, oh well, I'm going to need a loaner. Oh, we don't do that for this service. Yeah. But no, I'm glad to hear that you all do have rentals, and I do like that. And trust me, as a business owner, I get it. We'll take a rental, we'll take a loaner, we'll take whatever you got. And sometimes, so.
Yeah, well, it's all about keeping the office up and going. I'm sorry, Dr. Horowitz.
No, please, Tom, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, we also introduced what's called a free second opinion call. And it got started because we get called in from an office that doesn't really buy from us, but they'd heard about our service. And they were just told they need to replace a panoramic x-ray or a compressor or whatever. And they would call and say, we'd like you to come out and take a look. Well, we would say, sure, we'll do that for free. And then we might go out and, one doctor just needed a fuse in the pan. And so our technician located it. Well, we have a very loyal customer now.
Yeah.
And that's really our marching orders. It's not about how much can we sell. It's not about trying to shorten the life of a piece of equipment, but give a doctor a choice. A repair is going to cost this much. You may have 3 or 4 years left. A new one would cost this. What makes the most sense for you right now? So we pull them into that decision making, but we'll still do a free second opinion call for anybody that would need that. And we always like it because we get to interview or introduce one of our techs that is very capable and reliable.
That's a wonderful idea. And it's a lot like I'm sure Jeff and I do in our practices. Heck yeah, I'll do a second opinion, because I feel that if they can experience our office, then that second opinion becomes a loyal patient, and there's a high conversion rate when you show the grace and the understanding that and the knowledge that you all have as well.
Don't we all love that heat and air guy when he comes in and says, you know what, we could sell you a new one, but we probably could put in this $300 capacitor to make this work. So that's true in our business as well. Sometimes people get things replaced that could be repaired, and it's one thing we teach our techs: don't replace it. We want to repair it, and if it can't be repaired, then we'll talk about it. But let's make sure that's the first thing we do, and that's why we have parts on the truck to fix it the first time.
Hey, we all know it was the flux capacitor that got them back to the future. So if you're replacing a $300 capacitor, I'm all in. So.
Well, I will say this because we're running short on time, but one of the things I don't think that it's any surprise that Atlanta Dental has been around as long as it has, and I don't think it's any surprise that you're as successful as you are, because everything to me always comes down to the leadership. And leaders like yourselves who are always involved. I've literally never been at an event that had Atlanta's name on it where these two gentlemen were not front and center paying attention to everything that was going on. And really, what more can you ask is leaders that really want to see the relationship carry, and they make sure they're there and that they are as much a part of it as the sales team is, as the service team is, as everyone else is. So I really appreciate you all very much as a customer, as an AIDA member, and as a friend. I love what you're doing, and I hope we can keep this relationship gig going.
I think I'd like to kind of wind up with maybe a couple of statements. First of all, thanks to DINKS for helping us and being a partner, because I definitely see the value of us working closer together, and especially in the education. And I think as we grew as a company, the thing we get beat up the most about by our customers is y'all don't sing your song loud enough. You don't do great at marketing. You're kind of a low-key company, and that's true. That's just our conservative nature, I think, that we're not that outspoken and loud. But what they're saying to us, you got a good story, but you got to help get it out there. So our reps do a great job of telling that story, but it's only to maybe 150 doctors. So covering masses or larger groups, we've had a weakness there. So the DINKS group, this is a great opportunity for us. And then the education piece that we've had a void in our company for many, many years of not having an education opportunity. We work with vendors, with some KOLs and et cetera, but we never had a structured system or program for education until AIDA put that together. And it's been a great attribute for us. Our reps are doing fabulous at the events. Y'all are doing great helping us as well. Put all this together with Dawn, and we're looking forward to Aspire as well. But thank you to DINKS for being part of this and for the education part you're helping us to develop, because it's pretty young, but it's going great.
Well, we appreciate that, and we appreciate you all very much as well. Thank you.
You bet.
Chad, what do you say? You want to close us out? I think we've hit 9:30.
Yeah, I'll close this out, and I'm going to start minimizing everybody because I'm going to be ending with a little bit of video. But Tom and Gary, thank you so much for being here.
Tom, Gary, thank you again.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure to be part of it.
Fantastic, and we appreciate y'all. What I'd like to say tonight is that, one of the biggest buzz, I'm not going to say words, but acronyms in dentistry right now is DSO. And we mentioned this twice before, but I'm going to mention it one more time. The DSOs have a lot of benefits. If you want the benefits of a DSO, but not have to sell your practice and maintain your autonomy, then look into a group such as what AIDA offers. AIDA, I don't know that we made this extremely clear, but Atlanta Dental, Getsy Dental, Midwest Dental, and Nashville Dental are all 4 members of AIDA. So if you basically live in, from the central United States east, you're covered. All right. So you can be an AIDA member, which allows you to excellent pricing on goods, on services, on education, and so much more. And so thank you to AIDA for being a valued educational partner of Dentists to Know. Thank you to Atlanta Dental for being here tonight. And thank you for the 3 other members of the Dental Alliance for being supportive of us as Dentists in the Know. So with that, Jeff, it was great to see you.
Great seeing you, brother.
Let's close with a little testimonial video from Aspire, because you can talk about it, I can talk about it, Don can talk about it, but I think this really sums it up perfect.
And I'm going to dance again.
I will too.
Oh, you got to be here. You got to be here. Come and check it out.
I can't wait for 2025, because if this was the inaugural event, I can't wait to see what's in store next year. So.
Oh, I would say book it. I'll bring my team next year. I think it's a great opportunity for just networking, connecting.
You got to grow. You got to do all this stuff. It's the stuff you do outside the chair, so you're better in the chair to be able to work on them.
There's a lot of great people that want to help you. Sometimes you just need to reach out and join this, and you'll get the help that you need.
AIDA is here to support private practice dentistry, but it's also here to be able to support the independent dentist.
This has been fantastic. What an amazing event with great speakers, great companies, a whole lot of like-minded individuals getting together.
This is going to bring you to the next level, and it's going to give you the advantage that these group practices are having.
And for that, hey, why not come and have a great time in Mexico too, and do a couple of 4 hours, and then work on your tan and have a good time with Scott or something like that.